Hello paddlers, this is Gary on beautiful Bayona Creek in Los Angeles. This is the testing site of the California Center for Research on Advanced Paddling, KCRAP, with another KCRAP video. This one is on feather or blade offset. Now, originally, I think everybody paddling wing blades was paddling them feathered, which meant that they were offset. I used to use 60 degrees, which would right-hand control, which would look something, not like that, that's left the other way. That would look something like this, right? Which means I have to rotate my wrist or with a high enough angle so that it does it by itself. The right hand control, keeping the right hand sort of locked, it doesn't have to be tight on the blade. So that's how I started. So for various reasons, including Oscar Chapolsky and Boyan Zlaterev, I was introduced to zero offset, so everything is equal. And the advice at the time was, since I was paddling offset, to ease into it, which means I was 60 degrees, put it 50 degrees and paddle out a couple weeks, and then 40 and 30, and then maybe in 6 months or so, I'd be at zero. I'm an impatient fellow, so I didn't do that. I just went right from 60 to zero. And although at first it felt a little strange, I had to sort of figure out, because basically you're using both hand control in a sense, one and then the other. After about an hour it felt fine, and another hour of paddling it felt like second nature. So I went cold turkey on the zero. And the advantages I found is that the pain I had in my right wrist from right hand control on a 60-degree feather, I was getting that pain, and it disappeared virtually instantaneously by not having to do any of this stuff. Now, if you're really high angle, that may not make a difference, and maybe you're using only 45 degree and you don't have to move your wrist much, but it made a difference for me. The other thing that made me go with the zero is that when I was doing some downwind in the Strait of Gibraltar with Boyan in the back of his V8 double, I found that when it was, see if I can do this again now, I keep putting it the wrong way. When I was feathered, I could brace on this side when we were on a wave, on the right side, but the left side, when I was doing that, you can see the left blade is at a downward angle, and there would be waves coming up on the left side that would catch the blade, and I almost lost grip on the paddle. So I didn't like that, and I said, oh boy. Also a little bit trickier to brace on the left side because it's not the same as the right. So what I want to show you is that now, after about three years of zero offset, and I have not been using any feather since then, what happens if I want to go back? So here we are, back to the 60 degree, and I just have to remind myself, keep this in contact here, and if I need to extend my wrist a little bit, right, or that would be extend, I guess that's flex, no, that's flex. To extend my wrist, I need to do that to get that left blade in there square, and just keep contact with the right hand. So here I go, cold turkey back to 60 degrees. Feels a little weird. I'm trying a higher angle because that makes it easier to square the left side. But no, not a problem. Here I go. So I think I can do that. Why would I want to go back to a feather? The only reason I can think of is if it's a really strong headwind. because even though these blades may have less resistance to a headwind as compared to the flat Euro ones because of the rounded, I still think that this here has more resistance than that, or even a greater feather slicing through. I'm not sure, but it just seems that with less surface area presented, even if it is rounded, you're going to punch through. Of course, if I were a sprinter doing sprint races, I would probably keep it feathered because they're moving so fast and they're not bracing and there's no waves. As long as they're not getting injured, they can use feathered. I think that makes perfect sense. But I don't see really any feather reason for downwind at all. So I'm going to go back to my zero feather. I can switch back and forth, and I don't find it a problem. So I have not seen, which I want to do. My son-in-law, who is an occasional paddler, he's been brought up on zero, because that's what I suggested. And I don't know how he could go to a 60-degree feather, what that would take. I think it would be tough. So, and whether it's worth learning, I don't know. The only reason is he's not going to be sprinting. He's probably not going to be doing a lot of strong headwind paddling, so I really don't see the need. So I think zero makes most sense. And of course, if you are going downwind, sometimes you might want to use the paddle as a sail. Oh, I didn't even realize I was still feathered. That's weird. So you see how quickly your body can just get adjusted to something. I thought I had unfeathered it. I wasn't even thinking there that I needed to do anything different than I normally do over the last 3 years. Interesting. And I don't think I'm going to have any trouble putting it right back on zero. Just, you know, you feel what the blade is doing and you do what you need to do. So anyway, some ideas on feather. If you are still feathered and want to try zero but not spend months easing into it, give it a shot. Go cold turkey. Get in some calm water, preferably warm water in case you do go swimming with a leash, and just try to zero and see if after a while you just don't get right into it. And then if you like it, stick with it, and then after a while see what it's like to go back to your previous feather. So I guess I am by offset here. Offset 60 and offset 0. And I think that's good. Okay, so that's the feather or offset video. Feather offset.